When did I feel comfortable to work all by myself? Let's talk about it.
I'm Kenny Molotov, licensed plumber, professional magician, and entertainer. On this channel, I go through the ins and outs of my career in plumbing. I take you through a day in the life and we talk tools, theory, and mindset. I'm trying to give you an arsenal of knowledge and an online resource so you can take this trade head on and find yourself successful on the other end. Click subscribe, hit that bell notification, and let's talk pipes.
Peeps, Kenny Molotov here in the studio, and I really wanted to tackle this question because I did a video a while back called 4 Plumbing Apprentice Scams That You Want to Avoid. And in that video, I talked about plumbing companies that essentially promised you the world. I have been approached by a number of apprentices that have said to me, Kenny, I'm green. I'm like 1-2 months into my apprenticeship, into working with my hands all together, and my boss is essentially telling me that within the next year, he or she wants me to start working in a truck all by myself and going and doing service calls. So I wanted to talk to you about my progression as a plumber so that you kind of understood why I would call that a red flag. Here's what I wanted to let you know. I was no prodigy whatsoever when it came to plumbing and the skilled trades. It took me a very long time to get the fundamental skills kind of honed for me to go out to a job site all by myself. And I remember being on job sites and driving out to jobs all by myself and feeling really nervous because it was all on my shoulders. And not only that, the mistakes were all on my shoulders as well. Like, I'm officially going out by myself. If I solve the problem, I get the credit. If I don't solve the problem, I get that bad credit as well. You know what I mean? So in other words, there's a lot of responsibility, and the moment you're kind of put on the spot, you kind of feel it. It is a significant moment, and I want you to know it gets easier. After about 6 months, 8 months, especially a year of working on your own, you really start to feel more confident on job sites. And what ends up happening is you come up with a game plan in your head that kind of just settles in your mind, and you sort of approach every job site in a really similar way with a similar methodology. And hopefully that methodology was passed to you by your journey person, because it definitely was in my case. But here's what I want to say. In my first year of my plumbing apprenticeship, I barely touched the tools. The majority of the time, I was sitting and watching, and I was doing everything in my power to not pull out my phone and just scan through it, because there were definitely moments where I was thinking to myself, I'm super bored. There's no engagement. I have no idea what my journey person, in my case, my father, is doing. He's not explaining it to me either, because he's so far in his mind that he's purely problem solving. He doesn't have time to talk. We are also on a time crunch. My dad needs to hurry up and get to the next job site, so there's stress involved in it. And you know, it was not a great formula for me having time to be on the tools. My second year, I got on the tools much more, and there were definitely moments in both those beginning years and formative years that my father kind of said, okay, we got time, you try this. And he'd sit beside me very impatiently sometimes, but you know, it's kind of the nature of the beast. And he'd watch me fumble and mess up and all that stuff. It wasn't until approximately the 3rd year that Dad could turn to me and say, all right, here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna be in the other room doing that. And it was a legitimate job. He would hand me tools and say, okay, you gotta cut in this section of the ABS sort of thing. And I was able to actually go there and cut the section. It would take me way longer than it would normally my father, but I was able to do it. I could get a job done successfully to the standards that my father or my journey person needed, okay? It wasn't until year 4, 4.5, 5 that I actually started getting into a truck all by myself and driving out to job sites by myself and doing the work by myself. And I didn't get comfortable at doing that till around year 5.5, year 6. That was my progression as a journey person. That was my progression as a plumbing apprentice. The reason why I want to say this to you is because I feel like in regards to learning the trade, I was in the average range. I didn't learn it fast, and it didn't come naturally to my hands and to my mind. It wasn't something that came naturally to me, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just pick things up and you get it. This was not the case for me. And I assume that a lot of people go through that. And that's why I wanted to tell you all, like, I am by no means somebody that automatically took to the trades, automatically took to the tools, but eventually I got it. But it took me a significant amount of time just to get the foundations in. And again, that was around year 4, year 5 was I able to go out to job sites, figure out leaks by myself, install toilets by myself, start going to suppliers years by myself, it was around that range of time before I became confident enough to be able to go there and not have a day destroy me. And I hope this information benefits you in a couple of ways. The first way is, I know, kind of like myself, we typically are really hard on ourselves, especially if you're very meticulous and detail oriented. You might be in your first or second year of plumbing, scratching your head thinking to yourself, you know, I feel like I've learned nothing. I want you to know that's exactly where I was in my first and second year. I was extremely frustrated at how little I felt I knew, but I promise you, even though you think you're not learning because you're not actively on the tools, you're learning a lot by watching your journey person. I know it's so painful to do, and I know it's so frustrating, and all you want to do is start sweating in a way where you're problem solving, but it takes a lot of watching to get good at it. Don't be discouraged. That's what I'm trying to say to you. It's normal for the first couple of years to feel like that, okay? The second reason why I want this information to come across to you, and I hope it's useful, is because if somebody is promising you the world, which goes back to my video on red flags and scams, if somebody is promising you the world and you're only in your third month or fourth month or first year of your apprenticeship, and this person is promising you a brand new truck with brand new tools, going out to job sites all by yourself year two, I need you to recognize that as a red flag, because it is an absolute liability for a company to take somebody who's green, who doesn't know the trade, who doesn't understand the difference between a storm system, a sanitary system, and a domestic water system or a venting system, to send them to a job site to ascertain an issue or to figure out an issue or to cut into pipes. It is dangerous. It is bad protocol. It doesn't make any sense. I need you to sit back. You don't have to say anything to anybody. I would suggest hold your tongue right now and figure out what exactly are they trying to do for you. Maybe they are really excited. Maybe you are showing some talent. Maybe they're trying to kind of get you excited as well so that they see a little bit more progress and a little bit more effort from you. That's possible as well. But I do think you should tread cautiously if somebody is promising you that when you know yourself that you do not display the skills that are necessary to be good at that work. You know, I think something that's really important to note is the apprentices that reach out to me and tell me this. They know where they're sitting in regards to their skill, which is really, really a good place to be. You know, there are 4 stages of learning. The first stage is unconscious incompetence. You're bad and you don't even know how you're bad. The second phase is conscious incompetence. It means that you are now aware of how you're bad, but you're still bad. And that's what they're displaying to me when they're talking to me about this. They're saying, look, I'm not good. I know I'm not good. And this person's promising something to me. That means for me, when I hear that, that means that they are aware of their skill set. They are aware of where they need their skill set to get. And it shows me that there's a part of their mind that has registered that and it's problem solving that, which means they are on their way to the next step, which is conscious competence, which means that they're going to get to a point where they're working, they're getting better at it, but they're consciously getting better at it, meaning there's a lot of firepower taking place in their mind for them to put in a new fitting, for example. The phase we're all trying to get to is unconscious competence, which is where you get to the point where you're playing on a joystick, you're not even thinking about the buttons, but you're firing these buttons because you're trying to do a move in a video game. Or when you're driving, you're not thinking about driving anymore. You know what I mean? You're just driving, sort of thing. That's where we're all headed. But it gets me very excited when these apprentices message me, because it lets me know that they're sharp enough to know that something fishy is going on, number one, and number two, that they're developing their skills in regards to what competent work looks like. And that's a big deal in regards to getting better yourself. So kudos to all of you that have messaged me and said that to me, because I think you're well on your way to picking up the skills necessary for you to eventually be in that truck all by yourself. I have all the faith in you in the world. So now that I've gone through my progression, I really want to hear more from you all so that we all as a community can hear from our experienced members. How long until you felt comfortable working in a truck all by yourself? Were you in your 4th year? Were you in your 5th year? Were you an absolute prodigy and you were good in your 1st year? I don't know. Let's find out from the community. Peeps, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Check out my plumbing math course and any merchandise that you might want. And I'll see you plumbers very soon. Candy Molotov, guys. Peace, baby.